now you rockin' with your girl, Kelly Kel, lip gloss and mics, 25-8 Mafia, Spark.
It's your girl, French in Hell. Check out my girl, Kelly Kel's on Lip Gloss and Mics every Friday night at 11 p.m.
Yo, this your boy Lil Justin, and you already know 258 representing this bitch. You tuned in to Lip Gloss and Mics, man, rocking out with my girl, Kelly Kel's, and we getting it in. Max out. Get it?
Gangsta killer from the riverside, you ain't heard. Green flag to my right, homie, banging for birds. Been a G all my life, this ain't just bandanas. Got a car full of homies with them cop back hammers. Little nigga run up on me, ask me why I bang. Got a question for that question, fool, what set you claim? I'm a G, I'm a Gotti, I'm a gangsta killer. Fully automatic shots for you gangsta niggas. Mafia made until they put me deep in the grave. Control the streets that my feet touch, embracing the pain. Real as they come, ain't too many did what I done. I'm the Don, that's the fools how I move where I'm from. Straight out the slums, came through the ranks so quick. Niggas thinking I be speaking on some arrogant shit. Fuck what they say, they ain't got break anyway. East side thinks the killing all day every day. Ghana.
Street topper from that riverside, you ain't heard. Green flagging to my right, homie banging for birds. Two ticks in the pump, yeah, I'm with the toe tagging posse. 100 round chopper, if I let off, I hit everybody. They think that they G's, my nigga, I was raised in this shit. Dick between my legs, my mama wasn't raising no bitch. Boy, you a snitch, your whole set be full of that shit. Starting pilot and popping the pills, just some turned out tricks. Been running with the big dogs, nigga, I'm a gorilla. I dare one of you bitches to try me, cause I'm a little nigga. Pop root till I die, but I got major love for the fight. We all riverside, say I'm a G-name, bitch, I'm a rock. I'm always focused, you niggas is easily blinded. Keep us street conscious and always remain militant minded. Run with us or run from us, but y'all gon' respect us. Make your next move your best move, this is just not checkers, bitch.
Trapsandtrunks.com, nigga.
Yeah. See, I feel like.
Hey everybody, that was Everybody by Arma G and Riverside Ghana. I have Arma live. Are you there, Arma?
Yeah, I'm still here. Right here, 15 minutes.
Okay. I'm gonna let you give a brief, everything about you. He's also, he's an artist, he's an author, and he's a community activist. So I'm gonna let him briefly give you a description, and then we'll get into it.
I am who I am. The streets know who I am. ECF movement, Riverside Mafia, bulletproofing. The movement or whatever. The book, Eastside Story, Language of Prison. From there, whatever, I would rather you just ask questions or whatever. It's hard for me to volunteer information.
Okay.
Federal situation or whatever, so.
We'll do that.
Questions or whatever, let's get it done.
Alright, so tell me about Eastside Story. I see a lot of verses from that, and everybody's excited about the book, so tell me a little bit about that.
Eastside Story, basically the primary character is Flames, and it's about his life or whatever, basically or whatever, participating in the so-called street organization. And more or less or whatever about the combos, what most know is Bloods on the East Coast, and it'll travel throughout his life or whatever from when he started banging to how he ended up in federal prison for the RICO charges.
Okay, so we'll be looking forward to that. I know it's got a lot of love.
Yeah. I appreciate the love, man. Shout out to the Bloods, Crips, folks, Vice Lords, Muslims, Christians, all the street organizations, though, more or less, or whatever, that support them.
Okay, moving on. BCF, you're also the founder of BCF, right?
Right.
Okay, and tell everybody a little bit about that, because I get a lot of questions, and I can't answer them.
That's more or less a socio-political organization, whatever. It was formulated while I was still on the streets, still free. It's basically an outlet or whatever to encourage the youth not to bang, period, but for the ones who are, whatever, to bang for the protection of the communities and things of that nature. Wherever they may be, wherever they may live or reside. Like we all know, the street gang organizations or whatever, most of them were striving to emulate the Black Panthers as youth. And the guys were supposed to move on from the street level organizations as youth because they were too young to become Black Panthers. And it was supposed to evolve or whatever basically into them growing old enough and leaving their so-called street organizations or gangs to become Panthers. What happened is the drugs got flooded throughout the community by different entities, and brothers chose to stay in the street gang, and that's where the turf wars and things like that started. So brothers never made the evolution into becoming the socio-political parties that they intended to become. Like the Pyrus were powerful intellectual radical units. You had the Crips that were community revolution in progress, or community revolution in the party circle. They started off with positive goals in mind, and they just got sidetracked by the drugs, which eventually led to violence.
Okay, so now with BCF, it's also a community thing, right? So a lot of people can get involved.
Yeah, it's for everybody in the community or whatever.
Call from a federal prison.
Excuse me, but it's not just for street gang members. It's the acronyms for it or Bloods, Crips, and folks. Better Consciousness Foundation. We know consciousness or whatever is awareness, and awareness is liberation. And it's just for everybody to be, everybody who's interested in protecting their communities and keeping it clean and safe and things of that nature. It's for everybody to participate in. But it was founded by guys from the streets. No preachers, police, or politicians were involved in its inception. It was just me and guys that I knew from the East Coast to the West Coast, New York to the Carolinas to Florida, back to Carolina to California or whatever. Everybody's been involved or whatever. My brothers from Chicago, throughout the Southwest, everywhere involved right now.
And that's actually how I met you, was through the group that you had started, BCF, on Facebook.
Right.
And I had seen some posts, and I was always just keeping up with the group, and I was like interested in it because it was positive. It was a lot of knowledge, and it was history, and that's how I had met Arma, was through that group page, and it's still going strong. What's some of the things that you want to put out there as far as you want to shout out to anybody?
I mean, everybody who's affiliated with me, if I did the shout-outs or whatever, it would be too many people.
True.
But to all of the states, man, to everybody who supported the movement, the music, supported me throughout the incarceration, everybody know what it is. It's BPL, it's Bulletproof Love to all of those guys. My primary people, though, Piezo, Mac, Easy, Gunner, Swan G, rest in peace to all the comrades or whatever that's not here who left their lives or whatever that's to the street gangs or to the prison systems or whatever. I just send my love to them, but anybody name I didn't mention, the love is still there, 100% or whatever. It's just that I have to name too many people. Special salute or whatever to my younger brother. He'll be coming out with his chapter of BCF is better college funding, so we can get some more of the guys in school who choose to go that route. And my comrade O.
Oh wow, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's very good. What about music? You were into music too.
Yeah, I mean, I was the CEO of the movement or whatever. I had shared responsibilities with Piezo when we first came up with the Riverside thing, and it just branched out. Now we have the umbrella movement, it's Bulletproof Inc., and you have the Mafia under it, and all of my artists have their independent labels also. So everybody who's been affiliated with the movement, we're still all together as the mob, the Mafia, but everybody has an independent movement going on also, so everybody can have the same opportunities.
Okay, that sounds good. This book, do you have an idea of when it's going to be finished, or?
At this point or whatever, I'm a federal inmate or whatever, and I can't. They have laws against us making any profits while we're incarcerated. So more or less or whatever, it should be available upon my release. That's not the only book. The East Side Story is the urban novel, and it's based on a true story. And I also have a book of poetry called Language of Prison. So both of them should be available or whatever upon my release.
Oh, okay. I didn't even realize you had another book.
Right.
Oh, that's good.
It's just a book of poetry or whatever, and just about being behind bars or whatever, and how we view things back here or whatever versus how we view things while we're in the streets.
Okay, so pretty much, you've sent some of those before on your page, right?
Right, of course.
Yeah, I've seen some of them on your page.
Yeah.
Okay, So now, pretty much, so you've got yourself still pretty much involved in a lot of things. Do you have any information on your release?
On my release, I really wouldn't want to speak about that right now.
Okay, gotta wait.
No, just to the people, to the public. I'm living through y'all, though. So I'm right here, and I'm still out there in the streets or whatever. You still hear my name ringing bells or whatever because I got a lot of comrades or whatever who moving in the same light. I salute them. I'm living through them.
Okay. And I see that you do have a lot of love. Every time I go on your page, there's so many people that look up to you. And that's an awesome feeling. I mean, just looking at that, you know that you have a lot to share with people that look up to you.
Yeah. I'm just the founder of a few different movements or whatever, but the people are the primary parts of the movement.
Exactly.
Or whatever, it's strive to express it in words or whatever for what. I strive to put it in the words or whatever what people want to say and maybe can't articulate as much as they would like to. But I'm doing it for them or whatever as much as I can.
Okay. Eventually, too, everybody, we're going to have a recorded interview so that way I can get that out to everybody that missed the interview tonight. That sounds good, Arma?
Yeah, I'm with that or whatever. We can get it done.
Yeah, we'll get that done, and that way I can blast it on the internet and put it everywhere we got to put it. So I think that would be a great thing for everyone, too, that, wasn't able. I know I did speak to Gunner earlier, and he had to work tonight, so he was going to try, but I guess he don't get out till midnight or 1 o'clock, so.
All right.
But he wanted to say hello.
Yeah, just send him my love.
I will. I'll definitely do that. And I'm still going to spread the music, of course. And you all see the movement as far as music. I mean, two of the artists are just doing phenomenal things. There's a lot of them out there. I don't know what else you want to wrap this up with, Arma, because I know we got only like 3 or 4 more minutes.
It's all on you. I told you. It's all on you.
You just like throw those questions.
I'll start to answer those questions. No problem.
Yeah, I really wanted to get the book out there. That's my biggest thing. Because if everybody, you can go to Arma has Facebook page. He has his own page, and there's verses on it from the book, so you can all go read it yourselves.
Right, and it's just East Side Story. It's gonna move back and forth or whatever on both coasts, but it's primarily or whatever about the brothers in the Southeast or whatever. And it's just talking about what brothers go through or whatever in that lifestyle. And eventually or whatever will be a volume 2, volume 3. I just can't fit all of the stories because it's based on a true story or whatever in one book. So the initial one would just be about the guys or whatever who were there from the beginning, and it'll continue on up until the point of incarceration.
Right. Which that sounds great. And then, like I said, the other one now, as far as the movement, the BCF movement, is that going to continue to, rise and be more, I don't know what word I would use for it, but be more out there, you know what I mean?
Well, I could say that even my present day incarceration has been beneficial to the movement because when you're in the federal situation, you're with guys from throughout the country and sometimes throughout the whole world or whatever. Like I got comrades or whatever, like the former president of Guatemala who's promoting it down in his country to strive to stop the gang violence or whatever. I got the guys or whatever almost in every primary state or whatever, all of the major non-states or whatever throughout America who's participating in the leaders of these organizations or whatever are back here with me where they usually end up. And so everybody or whatever is sending the word, to the different chapters and regions and cities to get the BCF movement or whatever laid down. Like I was telling you, whether it's Chicago, Florida, New York, California, Tennessee. I got comrades from everywhere. Of course, the Carolinas or whatever, Georgia or whatever, everywhere.
And I can see that because when I posted it on Instagram for the interview, there was like love from so many different places, and I was like, I don't even know who these people are.
Right, and I can't really attribute that to me myself. Like I told you, I'm just the founder of the people of the movement, but it's guys who reached out to me and guys that I just met and crossing, guys locked up and guys or whatever while I was still on the streets who chose to participate, and they were on the same page or whatever about peace in the community, and they wanted to get back to the foundational movements or whatever, the origin of their movements and the reason for being. Because, versus the drugs and the turf wars and the colors, they wanted to get back to protecting their community or whatever and growth.
Okay. Yeah, and I can feel that. Now, the other thing is I get a lot of people that ask me about it, and I guess it's because of the B, the C, and the F, and they think gangs, and they think negative towards it. And that's hard for me because I don't know a lot about any of it, you know what I mean? But I will say that the BCF, the group that I had just stumbled upon on Facebook, you know what I mean, and just took interest in it. And there was nobody that led me to that group, you know what I mean? I didn't even know anything about it. It was only about the post. And then I would read everybody's interactions with it so that I could pick up on it. So y'all, I mean, look into something before you judge something or you look at a logo and be like, oh my God, and think negative of it. Because it's really not. If you look at any of the posts, they're all positive. Everything is like you said, geared towards peace, geared towards it's nothing like what people are trying to make it be.
Right, yeah, and we have to understand that these so-called gangs or whatever, these street-level organizations were started in opposition to gangs. You had gangs or whatever that existed or whatever that wouldn't allow people of color to travel in certain neighborhoods or whatever, or will come and do things to people of color, whatever that resided in that neighborhood just because of the color of their skin.
Absolutely.
Basically, or whatever, a reaction to street gangs that already existed. That's how the Crips came about. That's how the Bloods came about. And you have to understand these groups like the Bloods are about unity, solidarity, and combating oppression. The Crips, like I told you earlier, community revolution. The GDs, growth and development. And all of these other groups or whatever, they're just socio-political groups that started off as so-called clubs or social clubs or whatever. And eventually, it got labeled as gangs, you know, by the powers that be. Like the minister said, the media is the most powerful entity on the planet Earth. It can make the guilty innocent and the innocent guilty. And so they determine through the media how people would view these street-level organizations. The phone's about to hang up, Kels. Like I told you, 15 minutes is a federal situation. You hear me?
I hear you, and we'll definitely get back up and we'll do the recorded interview during next week or whenever we can. We'll talk. And, definitely, I thank you so much.
Yeah, it's no problem. Whenever I will be. Hey, bulletproof love to all of my comrades out there. I appreciate the support. Hopefully you'll see me again soon on those streets.
Yes.
And I appreciate the interview, Kel.
Oh, you're welcome, always. And we will get back up and we will do the recorded one and I'll write up a little feature on it and we'll put it out there for everybody.
Reach out to me. It's a go.
All right.
All right.
All right. Alright, everybody, that was Arma G, and we were live. Yes, it had to get cut short because he's calling from a correctional facility, and like he said, it's a federal prison, so, but I want you to all just sit back for a minute, and whatever you got out of that interview, or whatever you sat and thought about, look, don't look at things negatives. I get a lot of people that come at me about just different things that I post, or because I represent trap music. It's not about what that's what I love. That's the music I love. I can't tell myself, well, don't like it. You know what I mean? That would be ridiculous. You know, that stuff I like. I like that music, okay? Has nothing to do with me being a gangster or me being in a whatever. I like to research. I like to find out knowledge. Arma's a very smart man, a very, very smart man, and he's very knowledgeable, not just in better communities and families. I mean, in a lot of things in religion, and just so much, okay? We will be doing another interview, and it'll be a written feature, and I will be blasting it out for everybody because we only had 15 minutes that we could, use. But I'm very grateful for him, and when I have questions about things, he's always there to answer me. So I really want you to all start looking at things different. This group is not, like I said, when I found it on Facebook, it was things that I remember from my childhood, like Black Panthers, okay? That's really how it started. Because my grandmother and my grandfather, which is my vovó and my vovó on Portuguese, that's what grandmother and grandfather means, we lived right next door to the Black Panthers when I was little, okay? Actually, he was the leader of the Black Panther region in New Bedford, Massachusetts, okay? His kids used to walk me home from school for my mom because she was a single mom, okay? My grandparents and them, the mother and father over there would sit on the porch together, and me and their granddaughter would be playing in mud pies on the city sidewalks, And we went through a racial riot And I could not play with my best friend for like so long. We had to be in the house with the doors locked. The police would be patrolling all the streets. There would be fires everywhere. And that's all I can remember because I was really little. But the thing that actually really shocked me and still to this day, it was hard for my best friend to be taken from me, knowing that she lived right across the street and I couldn't go play at her house. She couldn't come play at my house. And when you're a little kid and you live in the city and you'd be making mud pies and you'd be seeing this girl every day and her family, I'd just walk in the house, she'd come over my house. You know, you can't, it's hard. That's a cultural, like, I was like, oh my God, like what is going on? That's the only friend I had. So when I had went into the BCF group, I had seen a bunch of posts about Black Panthers and the history, just historical moments. It wasn't nothing keyed in or specific. And that's where I started talking, reaching out. And that's how I met Arma, because he had explained some things to me in history that I didn't understand. You know, and anybody that really, really knows me, I thrive off of knowledge, okay? If that person over there across the street knows something that I don't know and can add some kind of growth to my development, I'm going to talk. I'm going to ask. I'm going to find out. Arma has never steered me wrong. He's always been open and told me exactly what I wanted. Well, not maybe what I wanted to hear, but I mean, just, you know what I mean? The things that I had questions about as far as the history, Black Panthers, things like that. That wasn't, I mean, moving down south was really a big adjustment for me. And it's been like that for 15 years. I see the horrible racial issues down here. And yes, I always get told by people down here that racism is everywhere. You are correct. It is everywhere. I'm, a matter of fact, at one point in time told me I need to move to California for a brief period and see how it is out there. That if it's hard, I think it's bad here, wait till you see it out in California. So it's like, it really bothers me. It does. I'm not going to lie. My co-host, Coco, she stands up with a lot of the political issues and things that she's got more knowledge on, and she can bring it out and word it right. And that's where I'm strengthening now, because I will be going into a more political aspect in my life. And I promised I would bring more of it out this year. And then hopefully by next year, my skin will be tough enough and I can get out there and do what I want to do. I've been sitting on this for a couple of years, and I've been taken down, and and it's not even to do with blacks and whites. Back home, when I first moved down here, everybody picked on Mexicans, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, back home, one of my mom's best friends was from Puerto Rico, you know what I mean? I learned how to cook Spanish food. My family is just totally cultural, and I feel like I'm stuck in I don't know where I'm at, like back in time or something, and it drives me insane. And I shouldn't even let these things bother me like I do, because nobody else cares, you know, but that's me, and that's always been me throughout life. And I'm not going to stop being the person that I am. And I'm not going to stop trying to make a difference, even if I'm only one person. I'm still going to try to do what I can. I've tried to arrange candlelight vigils. People don't support them here. And that's what's hard. It's really hard when everybody's got something to say, but nobody stands together. The results that you will get is everybody coming together. I mean, if you ain't woke up and see what's going on in the world, trust me, when that election goes through, I'm seriously thinking about moving to Canada. Because there's so much coming in the world that y'all just don't pay attention to. So many people are just like, oh, well, that's not, no. It's not coincidence. It's not. This shit's really happening out there, and it's only going to get worse. So you need to open up your mind and start researching on some other stuff. But I'm not going to keep going on and on and on, because I could go on all night. We know this. But anyways, I'm going to play the rest of the music. I am so glad that we got to catch up with Arma. Shout out to Mob Life Mister, Riverside Noodles, Coco, Gunna. Those are the ones that, you know, I mean, you listen to Mob Life Mister's music, you listen to Riverside Gunna, you know, people can say, oh, Now, listen, let me tell you. They do this, okay? They've been doing this, and they've been growing, and they deserve everything they're getting now, okay? Mob Life Mister, I can remember, God, I don't even want to say this, it shows my age, but it's been a good 8-9 years, okay? I remember seeing him, and he was, so different looking and younger, and I was just like always laughing because, you know, you could see the growth in him, just in him as a person. You know, how he dresses, how he acts, just everything. Okay, so when you see development like that in people, and there's other artists in the area that I've seen, you really respect that. That's the ones I respect that have been doing it for years and keep elevating, and they don't let nothing stop them. And that's the whole thing in life. Whatever you got in your heart, whatever your goals are, the one true thing that you really want to do, you've got to do it no matter what. Your family will tell you don't do it. Your family will be the worst ones of support. Okay? But you know what? You just keep pushing through and do you. So we're going to get into the music because we still got, you know, the first one you heard was Everybody by Arma G Interview. And then now we have the rest of the songs, and we'll be back at midnight. I'll probably break in before that, and we'll be going into Sex Talk.
Yeah, I mean, or you can tell them.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Lip Gloss and Mike Tuesday night edition, because we're going to stop moving on to Tuesday nights as well because we're overbooked. I have Arma G with us. I told you part 2 was coming soon, and we're here. Arma, you with me?
Yeah, I'm right here.
All right. So I don't know if you want to introduce yourself, but you want to give a little bit about yourself real quick?
I mean, if they don't know, they won't know, you know. I'm Arma G.
There we go. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna kind of go right into it because, as you well know, we might have to do we're gonna do a 2-part call, Arma.
Yeah, I mean, whatever's recommended.
All right. That way, yeah, because we're gonna also record it all, so whoever misses it tonight, you know, we can also, I'm gonna promote it so y'all can make sure you get it. But we're gonna just start off, and basically I'm just gonna go right into the questions, and that way we'll have enough time to get them all in. Okay. I guess like my first question is how did you get involved and become affiliated with all the street gangs and organizations from New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Florida, the Carolinas?
I guess it would be just my affiliation or whatever with my neighborhood plus with my travels. I could say it like that or whatever, without incriminating myself any further, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So it's just kind of like, yeah. Okay. All right. And reading in the indictment, okay, it kind of like provided that you had leadership and guidance to all the blood gangs in the state of South Carolina. Is that true?
Well, you know, the government has to make many allegations or whatever to substantiate their case. So I would like to answer that or whatever further, but I really can't. But I can say that I'm striving, you know, to provide guidance to the brothers from every organization, the Bloods, Crips, Folks, Vice Lords, Kings, whoever I can contact to make sure that they have the youth focus on peace, more or less, and on the original rules of their organizations.
Okay. Now, when you were arrested, it was in Los Angeles. Were you on the run from the feds?
No, I was never on the run. I was living a regular life, kicking it on the beach every day, doing what I do out there. You know, the weed, the weather, the women. Just, you know, regular life in L.A. I was relaxing, enjoying. Basically, or whatever, I wouldn't consider myself participating in any crime. Well, I wasn't participating in any type of criminal actions or whatever at that point in my life. Not saying I'm innocent. You know, I did things as a youth, but at that point in my life or whatever, I hadn't really been doing anything for maybe almost a decade.
Okay, so basically out in L.A., you were just kind of like just living your life. You were doing your thing.
Yeah, I'm relaxing. I was doing the BCF thing or whatever, coast to coast. You know, you could check the page or whatever. It was coast to coast on a regular basis or whether with the nonprofit. Of course, the music, Riverside Mafia, Bulletproof Inc. You know, my little brother out there, Mac, had the Duct Tape Carolina movement. You know, we got that situated for him. Like, just doing the correct thing, what I was supposed to be doing, you know?
Okay, so basically, I did read a little bit of that, and I also read something which I'm gonna read more into it. Like there was like 100 pages. I ain't gonna lie, there's so much, and there were so many different articles and different. It was overwhelming. I ain't even gonna lie. There were so many pages. What inspired you to start BCF?
I guess it could be for like. More or less it was personal reasons or whatever, I guess, from the beginning. Like, I have younger relatives, and I didn't want them to grow up in the same environment, you know, with the so-called gang violence or, you know, violence from street-level organizations and nations. So I wanted to make sure, whatever, if I can have any impact on brothers resolving their issues or at least putting their differences aside, to come to an agreement of peace for the moment, just so the future generations won't have to experience that part of the violence.
This call is from a federal prison.
Excuse me, but America being a violent society within itself, I didn't want to add on to it, and I was striving to make up for anything that I had done in the past or whatever to help create any of the violence.
Okay, now, just real quick, can you just kind of shout out what BCF means? Because I know a lot of people, people that know what it means, they're okay with it, but a lot of people question it, especially like if I share it, people come at me like, well, what is that? And they see the colors, and a lot of them look at it negative, and I don't want that out there. I don't want it as a negative thing.
Right. Well, the original acronym was Better Consciousness Foundation. We know that awareness of being aware of anything is liberation. Because once you're aware, you know about things, you can better assess it, whatever you're dealing with in life. And it was, I guess, Blood, Crips, and Folks or whatever played a major part, which is one of the other acronyms, or Better Communities and Families, because it is the foundation it was the guys that I was striving to reach, you know what I'm saying? That immediate community, the so-called gang community or street-level organization community, because those are the guys who wanted to participate, and do better in their communities. It wasn't necessarily any other groups that were out there providing alternatives to the youth, other than the banging. So I came up with the BCF thing to give them an outlet, to voice their frustrations and to strive to get them to move back to the original protocols or whatever neighborhoods they're a part of. Like the Bloods or whatever, I would tell them, it's all about unity, solidarity, and combating oppression. For the Crips or whatever, telling them to move back to community revolution and progress, or community revolutionary and a party service. Or the GDs, they were supposed to move on to growth and development. And all of the other neighborhoods, whether it's MS, Kings, Latin Kings, Vice Lords, all of those brothers have similar protocols and codes of conduct that they could live by. So it wouldn't be any misunderstandings or violence in the community or whatever. It's a way out for peace if brothers just follow the original rules and regulations, whatever the neighborhood may be. So it's all of those factors or whatever, BCF or whatever, and it's just not so-called street gang members. You have Muslims, Christians, concerned parents, Nation of God Sinners, better known as 5%ers, like multiple different organizations participate in the movement for the benefit of the community as a whole. I'm just the founder. The people are the movement.
I have noticed that, because when I do go on Instagram with it, a lot of people from all over, like different people, different walks, they know what it means. And like you said, it wasn't just affiliation, it was different. I frequently speak to someone in California, and he's Muslim, and he knew about it, you know what I mean? And he's not, so I was just like, wow, that kind of, you know what I mean? And he's that percentage thing. So I like I said, I'm not familiar with a lot of things, but I mean, the people that came at it were different walks, and that kind of like impressed me, because I was like, wow, you know what I mean? Instagram's a very large social media type thing, and it's actually, to me, it's better than Facebook. So, but all right, so what type of frame of mind were you in when you started BCF?
Like I told you or whatever, I was worried about the youth or whatever, more or less from my own family first and foremost. I can admit that, and then the community as a whole in general. And I was just kicked back. It was at a time in my life where I really didn't have to participate in any criminal activities anymore to survive. I was sort of laid back, just doing the music thing, like I said, and came up with the non-profit idea and started putting it in motion. Well, actually, maybe it started a little earlier because we did G-related CDs.
This call is from a federal prison.
The different so-called gangs or whatever, all on the same CD or whatever, was like, I think, G-related Volume 2. So it was as early as 2003, at the very least.
Oh, wow.
Made it public. And then we established it later, maybe via social media, like maybe in 2006 or something like that. And the movement got bigger before I got incarcerated around the 2012 era. And it is what it is at this point. I was expecting for it to be a national movement, but you had other guys who were participating, and they've taken it global now. Salute to Chris Sullivan, that's the national spokesperson. The comrade KK, the comrade Snap out of Chicago. I mean, Chicago, Atlanta, LA, New York, Miami, everywhere, whatever, where the brothers are participating in it.
Wow, that is a big movement then, so it's pretty much everywhere.
Well, I'm viewing it from the inside. All I can do is go by what you told me and what the streets tell me. And, you know, I deal with a lot of brothers from everywhere back here who are also carrying the movements back to their neighborhoods. I've been at facilities from California to Atlanta to out here, Colorado to Carolinas, and everywhere I've touched down back here or whatever, I've carried the movement with me also.
So now you told me that. So those are the primary participants in it. Is Chris Sullivan and some of the other people that you had mentioned.
Well, I can't just say that they're the primary. Like, we're just figureheads, basically, or whatever. Like I said, I'm just the founder and one of the leaders, but we have ambassadors everywhere. Now, Chris Sullivan, he's the national spokesperson for the movement as a whole. So I have it lined up where everyone, you know, basically contacts him to stay in contact with me, and he spreads the message or whatever through community efforts and socio-political activism out there in the streets. He's actually the face of the movement for the nation, but we have other faces and ambassadors that exist everywhere. Salute to KK too, free KK. That's the comrade in Atlanta. He played a major part in the movement getting established.
Okay.
In that region itself, in the southeastern region.
Okay, now the other thing is too, did you have like a hard time getting, like, say, alleged rivals or opposition to participate in all this? Like, how did you convince everybody, like, that this was a good movement?
I guess I would say, like, at that time in my life or whatever, the level of my street credibility or the respect I had in the streets, I was able to communicate with the guys or whatever. And I would always communicate with the brothers or whatever according to what I knew about their rules and regulations versus my frame of mind. And it was always like my relatives or whatever are from so-called rival neighborhoods and things of that nature. So I was just always plugged into the streets. I'm from that, you know. So it wasn't hard for me to communicate the message or whatever of peace to multiple different people. Plus my extensive travels or whatever throughout the states. So I knew a lot of people or whatever. And I've always kept in contact with numerous people or whatever, almost from everywhere throughout the states, especially on both coasts.
What are some of the things you're hoping to see in the future with BCF?
I just want all of the brothers out there to continue participation, to stop letting the youth participate in these so-called street gangs and street-level organizations. Do what it was intended to do, have everybody move on to socio-political movements. Originally, like, you know, brothers intended to do, just now that we have a socio-political movement available like BCF at this point in time, this era. In the past eras, it was groups like the Panthers and things of that nature. But right now, it's BCF. That's the movement for today. And I'm just hoping that everyone will participate.
And that it'll grow even and keep continuing to grow.
Yeah, like just have a positive impact, you know, on everyone's lives or whatever that encounter the movement or choose to participate in the movement.
Okay, I see that. So that's just going to keep growing, and now I don't know if you want to go into the book too. I know we talked about the book some other time, and of the last interview we had brought up the book and everything. Now you had talked about as far as publication and all that, you have to wait, right?
Yeah, I really can't speak about the business aspects of it, but it'll be able to be released soon. You know, not too much longer.
Okay. And I don't know how much time we have left before we have to
You hear the beep or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I hear the beep and I'm like, usually I'm not.
I'll reach back in like maybe 30 minutes. We get through the phone calls every 30 minutes or whatever.
Oh, okay.
I can finish the second half of this.
Okay, that'll work.